Welcome, everybody. John Zegar. Good afternoon. How is everyone? What time is it? 1:29 on the eastern slope here in Colorado. Overcast. Supposed to start raining again, I think around 3 o'clock through the evening. We've been getting a fair amount of rain in the afternoons. A couple weeks back and on, it seemed like it was raining every day forever, but now we're just, I guess it's settling down into just afternoon, evening rains, which is fine. That's what it's supposed to do in Colorado, especially in the springtime, but throughout the summer as well. We've got a lot of snow up on top. This is Memorial Day weekend, and most of the roads are not passable where they normally are on this weekend every year. They can't get them cleared out. Too many avalanche, too much snow. There's a lot of water up there. So, anyway. How is everybody? Having a good weekend? Long weekend, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken. What have I been up to? Took a break from working out for a few days. Got a little sore from, again, lifting. But feel like I'll be ready to go again tomorrow. At leastwise, that's what I'm planning on doing. And it's been pretty quiet. Been doing a fair amount of research and reading some neuroscience kind of books and stuff, and listening to a lot of YouTube videos, trying to get myself educated with some additional information that seems new and kind of intriguing to me. But anyway, today, short podcast, ask, believe, and receive, right? I don't know, I think that or part of it or most of it or whatever is out of The Secret, the book The Secret, law of attraction kind of stuff. And it's also fits into the various programs with neuroscience and whatnot. And I think where I've kind of come within the past week is a fair amount of frustration with listening and reading and watching on the internet. There's a lot of people out there that just seem like they're a little hostile. They're not a little hostile, they're very hostile. And I don't see a whole lot of stuff in regards to people helping people. I see a lot of criticism from one another. For instance, again, Dr. Joe's, he's got 3 groups, for his students and people studying his program and whatnot, but you get a person, yesterday I guess it was, who comes on and questions Dr. Joe's validity, is really what it boiled down to. And we all know how Dr. Joe had the bike injury, back in the 80s and was, I don't know, nearly paralyzed for all I can tell, and was supposed to have the surgery and chose not to, and elected to self-heal himself, which is great. I'm all behind that. I think that's wonderful. And that's kind of where his whole public persona started. And everybody bought that hook, line, and sinker. That he broke his back, let me be more specific. I believe he said 6 vertebrae, and he mentioned which ones. And I guess there was one that was shattered, pressing down on his spine. Long story short, 10 weeks? 11 weeks later, he's up and walking around, and away we go with the program. I said, cool, and I'm on board, and I sure want to learn about this, as did many, 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 many other people. So this guy yesterday, I don't know, I don't recall how long he's been following Dr. Joe, but I seem to recall that it's been for quite a long time. His comment was, I sure would like to see the x-rays before and after. Well, I don't know. Some people might think you don't need to be asking those questions. On the other hand, some people might say, yeah, I've kind of wondered about that too. So he asks, in his comment, this is a comment that I'm making direct to Dr. Joe and his company, and I really don't want to have a lot of people commenting back to me, because he probably understood what would happen, which is exactly what did happen, and everybody just attacked him and just basically accused him of being someone who's a non-believer, and this program won't work for him, and he's not one of us, and just this awful, awful negative stuff from people who are wannabes. They've read 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 books, and they do this meditation work fairly regularly, and if lucky, they might have attended one of Dr. Joe's seminars. And they're an authority on it, right? So this guy gets just attacked. And without using the language, just basically told that he doesn't think like they do, and therefore he should go someplace else. I don't know, that seemed pretty rude and hard to me, and I guess that's what I want to talk about today. By making those negative statements to this guy who has, I don't care if he wants to see this stuff. Go read the Bible. There's a lot of history back there that talks about not everybody was a believer wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? And they needed to actually see in order to believe. Well, God didn't cast them out and send them to eternal hell. It's the same principle here. This guy is wanting to get more information, which would help give him a stronger base to work from, and possibly obtain whatever it is he's working on, for himself. I don't have a problem with that. I've had the same thought, but I've never asked. I sure would like to see the before and after x-rays. I do believe that Dr. Joe has changed from the beginning. And it might be a good idea for him to, I don't know, provide some information for people that are kind of on the fence. I don't see anything wrong with that, if he wanted to do that. From a marketing standpoint, there's no reason for him to do that, because he's got, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many people he has. Let's just say thousands and thousands of people prescribe to everything he does and buy everything and attend everything. So he's making an abundance of money. So from that perspective, I suppose, shut up and sit down and don't say anything. Just keep the flow going. But people are entitled to ask questions. And nobody is so educated and smart and learned about a specific thing that they have the right to ostracize and attack. To me, that says all those people have a fair amount of fear and apprehension and anxiety and anger and bitterness themselves of what they're doing, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. And there's a lot of people that are like that in the world. Now just move out of Dr. Joe Dispenza's groups and move it over into just reading the internet. World events, current events, politics, economy, real estate. There's a lot of people on the internet that are really scared, I believe, that are really frightened, that are angry, that are bitter, that are hostile. Because in a sense, other people are attacking what they represent, their views, their opinions, their agendas, right? And if you're comfortable, if you're confident about who you are, your values, your morals, what you stand for, I don't know, your spiritual beliefs, if you're confident about all that, if you like who you are, if you work out of the premise of from the inside out, you don't expect anything from the outside or the world to impact you in order for your life to get better, but rather you view your life getting better from your perspective internally. Then why do you have to be fearful? Why do you have to be angry? Okay, so we're going to move it from Dr. Joe's groups to the whole internet. We're going to make it even smaller, down to, I'll give 2 examples. Road rage. Here's a guy driving down the road and somebody cuts in front of him or whatever, and he loses it and goes ballistic and flipping the guy off and cussing and using profanity and starts driving in an aggressive manner, I don't know, to get in front of the other guy and cut him off, which is just causing danger for all kinds of people. Well, you're probably not a Buddhist monk, right? Or you're probably not Keanu Reeves, yeah? Those 2 examples, a Buddhist monk is I haven't gone and interviewed Buddhist monks, but I have talked to a couple, and I've read and researched enough to know that they seem fairly comfortable with who they are and what they're doing. And if somebody else chooses to have a different viewpoint in any manner, it isn't earth-shattering to them. Does that make sense? Of course it does. And therefore they're not going to react out of fear. You know, nobody's threatening them. Nobody's taken anything away from them. Here's a second example. And excuse me if you don't like the example. It's just an example, you guys. There's a guy on the river, or there's a guy in a boat, whatever, and he's fishing. And let's say he's with a guide. Could be with, without, I don't care. He's in a boat. He paid a bunch of money to go with this guy in a boat to catch tarpon. And they get to a place to where the tarpon are rolling. So the guy's excited. And he's excited about casting into these tarpon that are rolling. Well, good. Hooray. I'm happy for the guy. I hope he catches tarpon. You know, it's all catch and release. Nobody's trying to kill fish. And here comes another boat from across, you know, further away in the ocean that sees him over here, and they come to investigate, and they also see the tarpon rolling. Well, the guide and the client in that boat decide to cast from the opposite side into this group of tarpon that are rolling. I understand there's ethical issues here. You know, are the guides supposed to have no ethical standards and allow their client to fish, you know, that area when another guide and his client are already there? I don't know. I don't know. But at any rate, the guy in the first boat gets outrageously mad and starts hollering and screaming at the guy in the other boat. And of course, the guides are just staying out of it because, you know, they want to make their money and catch fish, and, you know, they're trying to alleviate any kind of political backlash. But it's still the point that the guy is fearful and scared and angry and bitter and hostile that somebody's going to take what he has. So I'm drinking some ginger tea today. It's very good. I got some more ginger root, and I just brewed up some hot water and put in a few slices of ginger root. And boy, again, just go read on the internet all of the positive things that can happen to you from drinking ginger root. It's really good for you. But so here's my podcast. My podcast is that the world seems fairly disruptive. I think it's safe to say that. And people are so, they seem to be so much on edge. And everything that you read and see and hear seems fairly negative from these people because they're all so fearful that somebody's trying to take what they have. And again, that can be anything from their views to their opinions to fish, I guess. But the media does not put the human stories on TV. You know, people helping people. Or radio or on the internet. I guess they do. I do read some of that stuff, but it's pretty limited. I believe that there's a lot of people, I mean a lot of people out there who are fearful. Fearful from this standpoint, that something outside of them is controlling them. Something in the world, be it a situation, a location, another person, a government, a political view, an opinion, I don't know, something outside of them is having a direct impact on them, which is causing them to be fearful. Just real clear. I turn on the TV. I refuse to turn on the TV, but I don't recall the last time I've watched TV in the last couple weeks. I might have turned it on for a minute or something, and you know, it automatically showed some negative type thing going on, so I turned it off. I don't even listen. The radio, there's no way I turn that on, because it's everybody with some kind of a talk show demonizing somebody else. I don't read the paper because of the political bias in the paper. I do listen to and watch the internet, but I really have to monitor myself very carefully. So I read books. You know, I'm constantly looking for, something new to read that's not from an author who already has an agenda. It's kind of like, well, before I read the book, I already know the answer based on that author's agenda. There's stuff I like to watch on the internet. They have these webinars. Yeah, that's what they call them, webinars. From various people, some prominent, that I used to sign up for and watch all the time. But eventually I figured out they all come with an agenda. This is my view that works. All the other views don't work. And if you can start sending all your money to me, whatever the cost of the program is, you get a free little snippet of their webinar, and then the sales pitch goes on, the marketing for, on and on and on, in order to buy their course that they're trying to sell. So there's an agenda there. And then for the next week, this is not an exaggeration. I want to listen to those things, but I've gotten away from it because, for the next week afterwards, they're sending me emails or texts or something every so many hours about, I'm running out of time to buy their course. Again, something from the outside trying to control how I feel and think, act, and feel. So there's not a lot of places to go anymore where you're not bombarded with all this negativity from people that are basically just fearful. My message is pretty clear. Hopefully and if you don't, it's okay. I mean, it's perfectly okay. But for me, what seems to work is to have some sort of, a spiritual base. That's different for everybody on the planet, I'm sure. A lot of them are alike and a lot of them are different. But you need to have some kind of a belief and faith system to work from. I think that's important. 2, I think it's imperative. That you work from the inside out. Meditation is the tool that works, seems like most well. Where you're going into your subconscious, not your conscious brain, not your analytic brain, but your subconscious, and maybe you're reprogramming some of the old stuff that doesn't work for you any longer, and you're coming to some resolution of what works for you in your life and the direction that you're going, with the goals and intentions that you have and the feelings and emotions that are attached to it. And the understanding, of course, that if someone or something from the outside is, for whatever reason, seeming to attack you, it doesn't have any bearing on anything. You're still confident, not anxious, not depressed, not angry, not bitter, not resentful, that, you're okay. You're okay. I really think the world is asking for help. And I believe that. And I have all the history in the world to back that up. Through all the media that you're exposed to and you can watch. They're trying to hit all of your triggers. They're trying to hit all of your sensitive spots. Because if you're not going to accept where they're at, right, they're going to attack and go for the jugular. To me, that's just fear. That's just fear and a lack of, I guess, belief and love in yourself. Now, the other way, I guess I'll offer one last comment. And again, this is just, I don't know, trying to offer a solution. And I want to be the first one to say, I don't have a solution. I have an idea. But I'm not so sure that I know any more than the next guy. I was sitting down in my chair. I just kind of got up. I'm at home. And let's see. Oh, I got only a couple minutes left. But so here's my thought. Here's my solution. And take my example of the guys fishing for tarpon in the ocean. And the one boat sees the other boat way off at a distance and goes over there. And actually tries to fish that same little, I don't know, group of tarpon that are rolling. Here's my solution. There's a lot of fish in the ocean. And I don't think anybody needs to be fearful if somebody casts a line near yours. I think you're still going to be okay. I think you're still going to probably catch fish. And depending on what kind of person you are, you probably would be happy and excited to see the other person catch some fish too. So I hope you all have a great weekend. It's a holiday weekend, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. A little bit of rain will be good. I'm happy to be home right now, kind of getting things in order. And God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I really look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.